Bitcoin dropped 75, Ethereum dropped 85, Hex dropped 95. Which one do you think is going to get up the hardest?
Just now start.
Thank you. Thank you. Please pull forward.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, ladles and gentlemen, chaps and chapasses. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Richest Man in Babylon. My name is Dr. H. I am the CryptoPractor, and let's go and dive straight in. Okay. So here we are. As you guys know, we've been working our way through the Richest Man in Babylon. The main reason for this is I am a principled crypto practitioner. That means I believe in the original principle of crypto, which is that I should have control of my money. I'm responsible for my money, and therefore there should not be any middlemen. So I endeavor to do everything to that respect. I love also financial principles. I was studying those 20 years before I started to study chiropractic. I know a lot more about them than I do about chiropractic, which is why on this channel I try and share principles both about the financial world but also about crypto, which I've picked up over the last 3 to 4 years studying some of the greatest mentors in the crypto industry. So I'm super pleased to be here. I'm also pleased and grateful that I started with humble beginnings. My family were pretty poor. My mother worked under the stairs sewing leather jackets for high brand goods like Louis Vuitton, that kind of equivalent thing in England. I was the first person to go to the university thanks to the efforts of my parents. First person in our family to go to university, and I've done pretty good for myself. And I want to leave a legacy. That's why I've started the stream. Also, I want to contribute to my community. For those of you that aren't into crypto and have just come for the Richest Man of Babylon, welcome, welcome, welcome. You're going to enjoy this. There may be some references you don't get, but that's okay. If you're looking to get into crypto, they'll stand you in good stead. And a lot of things you're going to learn here are going to help you. So I trust that that is the case. So phenomenal book, one of the best ones now. A chiropractic mentor of mine 25 years ago, Dr. John Martini, absolute genius, great man, a great businessman. He introduced me to a speed reading course. I did that, and the premise is that we can only get through about 1,000 of these in our lifetime. So it therefore behooves us to get the. All right, yeah. Sorry, guys, just checking, make sure my sound is good. It looks like no one said anything. So great, welcome, welcome, Will. Thanks. Smash that like button. Yes, I am. Oh, look, we've also got a spanner, or as you call them here in North America. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So Will has got a spanner. So that is a spanner. For those of you in North America, a wrench in English is a spanner. So don't mess around because Will is tough. And welcome to Centurion 54X. Anyone else watching, do throw some comments in. If you're here on the chat afterwards, do throw comments there as well in the bottom, and I will circle around and check it out later. Now, on this channel, and we're going to get to it in a bit, I'll just use my, I've got to use this as a prompt. Otherwise, I will go all over the place because I'm a bit squirrely. I am a bit of a degen in my previous life, not so much now, but I'm still very squirrely. So my name is Dr. H. I provide hands-on practical edutainment and simple crypto investing strategies for beginnings, blossoming neophytes, and the next generation OGs. And today is a Sunday noon Eastern time show. And on this show, what we discuss is wealth and health principles, because my main gig is chiropractic. It isn't cryptopractic, which has both pluses and advantages for you guys if you're exploring chiropractic. If you're exploring crypto in detail, you can get a completely different perspective from me, but it is an intelligent perspective, I like to think, and it's one that has been doused in a lot of experience of good and bad investments. Okay, with no further ado, let us jump on. So we're actually at chapter 7 now, okay, and that's actually 8. So we've had 8 shows so far. This is the 8th show because we had one about the author as well. Now, if you go down in the description, really easy now, all of the chapters, they've all got direct links, even the ones I haven't done. So if you're fancying coming along to find out about the clay tablets of Babylon, which is like the next chapter. Just register, just hit the link, register for the upcoming show, and it'll let you know when it's on. Okie dokie. So today, the Wars of Babylon. Now, this is going to be a corker because I have some guest cameos. Let's see if we can get this going. Okay, so we're going to have some silliness and some action and drama and intrigue as we get through the Wars of Babylon, as we go through chapter 7, the Wars of Babylon. Okay, and I'm going to actually dive straight in. I'm going to cut out some of the intro, guys, so you get the juicy stuff. Old Banzar, grim warrior of another day, stood guard at the passageway leading to the top of the ancient walls of Babylon. Up above, valiant defenders were battling to hold the wall. Upon them depended their future existence. The yelling of many men. And I'm sorry if I've just blown some of you guys' ears out there. I apologize for that. But yeah, it's battle, it's war. And it's a war in ancient Babylon. So, the yelling of the many men, the trampling of the thousands of horses, the deafening boom of the battering ram pounding the bronze gates. In the streets behind the gate lounged the spearmen waiting to defend the entrance. Should the gates give way, but they were but few for the task. The main armies of Babylon were with their king far away to the east on a great expedition against the Elamites. No attack upon the city having been anticipated during their absence, the defending forces were small. Unexpectedly, from the north bore down the mighty armies of the Assyrians. And now the walls must hold, or Babylon is doomed. About Banzar were great crowds of citizens, white-faced and terrified, eagerly seeking news of the battle. With hushed awe, they viewed the stream of wounded and dead being carried or led out of the passageway. Here was the crucial point of attack. After 3 days of circling around the cities, the enemies had suddenly thrown his great strength against this section and this gate. The defenders from the top of the wall fought off the climbing platforms and the scaling ladders of the attackers with arrows, burning oil, and if any reached the top, spears. Against the defenders, thousands of arrows and enemy archers poured a deadly barrage of arrows. Old Banzar had the vantage point for news. He was closest to the conflict and first to hear of each fresh repulse of the frenzied attackers. An elderly merchant crowded close to him, his palsied hands quivering. Tell me, he pleaded. They cannot get in. My sons are with a good king. There is no one to protect my old wife. My goods they will steal all. My food they will leave nothing. We are too old to defend ourselves, too old for slaves. We shall starve, we shall die. Tell me they cannot get in. Calm thyself, good merchant, the guard responded. The walls of Babylon are strong. Go back to the bazaar and tell your wife that the walls will protect you and all of your possessions as safely as they protect the rich treasures of the king. Keep close to the wall lest the arrows flying over strike you. A woman with a babe in her arms took the old man's place as he withdrew. Sergeant, what news from the top? Tell me truly that I may reassure my poor husband. He lies with fever from his terrible wounds, yet insists upon his armor and his spear to protect me, who am with child. Terrible, he says, will be the vengeful lust of our enemies should they break in. Be thou of good heart, thou mother that is, and is again to be. The walls of Babylon will protect you and your babes. They are high and strong. Hear you not the yells of our valiant defenders as they empty the cauldrons of burning oil upon the scaling ladders. Watch your ears. Yes, I do hear them, and also the roar of the battering rams that do hammer at our gates. Back to thy husband. Tell him the gates are strong and withstand the rams. Also that the scalers climb up the walls, but to receive the waiting spear thrust. Watch thy way and hasty behind yon building. Banzar stepped aside to clear the passage for armed reinforcements. As with clanking bronze shields and heavy tread they trampled by, a small girl plucked at his girdle. And just before we go in to find out what the small girl wants, we're just going to talk about Dr. H's guarantees. So this that I've provided here, if you haven't already guessed, is never financial or health advice. I do all that sort of stuff elsewhere, health advice anyway, because that is my bag. But it's never financial advice. It's edutainment only. So I don't shill crypto coins other than the 3 that I know about. There are no trading course shilling and no crypto coin sponsors or affiliate links. And on that note, today's the show is not sponsored by one of my all-time favorites, and that is Crypto Coffee. So for those of you that are beginners in the crypto space, Crypto Coffee is a great place to start. It has some very straightforward videos. They're very entertaining. The guy has got some great principles. That's one of the main reasons that I love Crypto Coffee. I try and get involved in most of the stuff that he does, including the paid stuff. I have gone through his Hex Passive Income course twice. I'm going to do it a 3rd time because once you bought into it, you've got it for life. So every time he renews it and updates it, you just rewatch it and you don't have to pay anything else, which is great because, as we all know, things change so rapidly in the crypto space. If you want to pop down below in the description, we've got his direct link to his website. So I'd highly recommend subscribing and getting involved there. And also to his Hex Passive Income course, which I like. I like it a lot. That's why I promote it. I do get a bit of a kickback, but that's not why I've done it. I've just done it because I like it. And that is not a trading course. It is just purely teaching you about crypto from beginner to winner, I guess is the phrase. Okay, so that's what's going on there, guys. Just looking in the chat there. Welcome, everybody. Keep throwing the comments in. It's great. There's another one from Will. Yeah, so there's banter going on in the chat there, guys. Thank you. Welcome. Thanks for coming along. And if you just send this out while we're live, put it out on you guys are much more technically minded than me, although I'm not doing bad. I am a bit older and longer in the tooth than most people. So if you could share it on X, on Twitter, if you have a Telegraph group, share it on there as well. And if you've got any friends and family that if you're enjoying it, just share it to them, because what it's going to do is going to pump your bags. Things may be flat now. That's why I'm doing the creating, because as things start to pick up and things are going to get better and better, and we're going to get more and more people coming here. They'll see more of this. They see more of the logos. They see more of the Hex logos, PLS. For those of you guys who don't realize that outside of crypto and you're just joining, there's some awesome crypto coins, crypto products, but there's also a ton of scams. So watch out for those scams. And thanks, Will. Thanks, Will, for throwing out. That's super appreciated. Okay, we're going to get into the juicy bits in a minute. So today's show is not sponsored by Crypto Coffee, and is also not sponsored by the Hex Passive Income course. Direct link to that is down in the description. If you want to click through to that, that'd be awesome. And as I say, it is a fantastic course, more importantly. So there we go. That is our not repeat, not sponsor. Now I want to talk to you about Monte Carlo or bust. I'm getting super stoked by this. I've actually started to record it. So I've got the first couple of shows are good to go. I'm going to do them live but recorded. So I'm going to be actually clicking onto buying crypto live so you can see it using our $1,000 wallet. We've got $1,000 in the wallet. But actually, by the time the money goes in, it's about 976, what with the costs of Ethereum and transfers and such like. But anyway, the point is there's $1,000 in the wallet. You're going to have that live wallet to check out and see as we progress. Now, I'm in for the long run, depending on how long I stream, and that's another question. Oh, hello. Crumbs. I don't normally bring this phone in here. Okay, so I'm in for the long run. So you're gonna see this now. The Monte Carlo Bus Show is crypto investing strategies for beginners in action. So you're actually going to see me doing this. We're going to tell you about Monte Carlo. We're actually going to go to Monte Carlo. I'm going to see if I can get hold of a real estate agent or a realtor. You guys call them here. I don't know what they call them in Monte Carlo. They speak French there. We're going to find out more about Monte Carlo. It's a principality sandwiched between France and Italy, and there's a lot of money associated with it. Now, our good friend and fellow Englishman, Crypto7, his bag is Monaco. Let's all go to Monaco. Let's meet in Monaco. Now, I remember in 1969, there was a jalopy movie called Monte Carlo or Bust in England. And in the North America, it has a different name. It was a spin-off of the Magnificent Men in Their Flying Machines. And it was called it was a crap title, probably the worst title I've ever heard. It was something like the Magnificent Men in Their Jaunty Jalopies. Whoever thought of that? That must have been a group of people sat around a table brought that one up because it's a crap name. But anyway, Monte Carlo or Bust I like a lot more. I just need to make sure that I'm not impinging on copyright. So if I am, it'll be Crypto Monte Carlo or Bust or something to that effect. But we've already talked about getting hold of a wallet, one of the best DeFi wallets you can get. So that'll be coming up. I've actually put the $1,000 in the wallet, so I'm going to be filming that. I've got to work out how to film the wallet. The wallet I currently use is RMIB, and that doesn't pop up on a screen. But anyway, for those technical geeks out there, I can't screen video it because it's a pop-up. So my screen recorder doesn't do that. So if you've got any ideas, guys, you technical-minded people, just throw it down below. Okay, right. Okay, so moving on. That's enough of this. And let's move on. Woohoo. But let's start with a little bit of our two favorite fellows. Tell me, please, soldier, are we safe? She pleaded. I hear the awful noises. I see the men all bleeding. I'm so frightened. What will become of our family, of my mother, little brother, and the baby? The grim old campaigner blinked his eyes and thrust forward his chin as he beheld the child. Be not afraid, little one, he reassured her. The walls of Babylon will protect you and mother and little brother and the baby. It was for the safety of such as you that the good Queen Semiramis built them over 100 years ago. Never have they been broken through. Go back and tell your mother and little brother and the baby that the walls of Babylon will protect them, and they have no need to fear. Day after day, old Bazaar stood at his post and watched the reinforcements file up and down the passageway. There to stay and fight until wounded or instantly crowded the throngs of frightened citizens, eagerly to seek if the walls would hold. To all he gave the answer with the same fine dignity of an old soldier. The walls of Babylon will protect you. For 3 weeks and 5 days, the attack waged on, with scarcely ceasing violence. Harder and grimmer set the jaw of Banzar as the passage behind, wet with the blood of the many wounded, was churned into mud by the never-ceasing streams of men passing up and staggering down. Each day the slaughtered attackers piled up in heaps before the wall. Each night they were carried back and buried by their comrades. Upon the 5th night of the 4th week, the clamor without diminished. The first streaks of daylight illuminating the plains disclosed great clouds of dust raised by the retreating armies. A mighty shout went up from the defenders. There was no mistaking its meaning. It was repeated by the waiting troops behind the walls. It was echoed by the citizens upon the streets. It swept over the city with the violence of a storm. People rushed from the houses. The streets were jammed with a throbbing mob. The pent-up fear of weeks found an outlet in the wild chorus of joy. From the top of the high tower of the Temple of Bel burst forth the flames of victory. Skyward floated the column of blue smoke to carry the message far and wide. The walls of Babylon had once again repulsed a mighty and vicious foe, determined to loot her rich treasures and to ravish and enslave her citizens. Babylon endured century after century because it was fully protected. It could not afford to be otherwise. The walls of Babylon were an outstanding example of man's need and desire for protection. This desire is inherent in the human race. It is just as strong today as it ever was, but we have developed broader and better plans to accomplish the same purpose. In this day, behind the impregnable walls of insurance, savings accounts, and dependable investments, we can guard ourselves against the unexpected tragedies that may enter any door and seat themselves before any fireside. We cannot afford to be without adequate protection. So that is the buzzword. I don't know, you guys probably won't be able to see. Let's make myself big. So that's the buzzword from the book there. I don't know if you can see. There we go. We cannot afford to be without adequate protection. Okay, so yes, keep it family friendly. But anyway, so what it was talking about then, these pamphlets, if you remember, from the Richest Man in Babylon. Oh, I've got my walls are coming down. These pamphlets from the Richest Man in Babylon were distributed by banks and by insurance salesmen. And obviously, Klassen at the time had certain markets that he would sell them to. And it was during the Depression. So it was the Great Depression. His map business actually went out of business. And what sustained him for the rest of his life was the payments from this. So obviously, there's things like insurance, which you can buy as a product nowadays. I have nothing to do with insurance. I'm not actually even very good at getting it for myself and my family. But it depends at what stage you're at, because you can, of course, be talked into anything by a salesperson. So, for example, my 2 children are now both 20 and 18. So I don't need to have layers and layers of insurance in case I die, because my wife can work and she can pay for where they are now. Whereas before it was they indeed themselves can go to work and pay. So at different stages of life, you need different levels of protection. Now, how does this work with the crypto environment? Now, I think it comes back to one of the main crypto principles that I've talked about, and actually is in the 10 crypto commandments. And that is the fact you should never invest more than you can afford to live without. So you should be prepared to live without what you invest, sometimes permanently. So at my stage of life, a good friend of mine will only invest 5% in, let's say, call it exotic investments, i.e. crypto, because obviously the volatility is so massive. There are obviously different opinions throughout the crypto world. Some of them are driven not by your best interests. There is only one person that can determine your best interests as far as wealth goes, and also as far as health goes. Okay, it's not your medical doctor or your financial advisor, and it's not your spouse or your brother or the guy in the pub or the guy on the internet selling the next seven-figure producing course. Okay, it is you, and it is you alone that deals with your health and your wealth. Okay, so you need to get educated for sure. My personal opinion, I think I didn't overexpose myself in crypto. I've got another big investment which has rugged from nowhere. So I find myself overexposed now. So it's not just crypto this applies to. Mine was a real estate investment, which okay. Mine is a real estate investment. So these principles don't just apply to crypto, but they do also apply to crypto. And I think if I'd have followed my friend's advice of only investing 5% in exotic, the 5% that you're willing to lose, I'd be in a much stronger position. I am happy with my position. However, I would like to be in a stronger position. So it's like I'm defending against the oncoming hordes, and I've got a few walls in front of me, but I don't have the 16-story high walls of Babylon, which is apparently that was how high they were in their maximum time at their height, the height of the power of Babylon. Okay, so with that ado, there's one last slide I've got, and it is okay, and here it is. Okay, and this is The Richest Man in Babylon. This is the next chapter, The Clay Tablets from Babylon. And this, it tells a story, 1935, a professor that's in hot water as far as his own investments have gone and his finances have gone. And he reads the 5 laws that turn him around. It's not the same 5 laws that we heard earlier, the 5 laws of gold, but excellent information. And I've actually personally also started to reapply these principles. We're in a bear market. Okay, a lot of money is tight for a lot of people, but I am putting 10% of all I earn to one side. Okay, 10% is going for my savings or investments or crypto investments or whatever it might be in the future, and 10% is actually going for taxes at the moment. So that is something that as a self-employed person you've got to have down. Okay, guys. Anyway, I trust that that's been of interest. I hope to see you next week, same time on Sunday. Now, the Monte Carlo or bust, go down below, boop the like, spank the subscribe, ding the notification bell to all, because when I release the live recorded Monte Carlo or busts, it's probably going to be random times. Okay, so at least you'll get notification of that. Right, chaps. Have a fantastic Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your crypto journey. If you've just joined us, we're about to wrap up. So it's nice to see you. Thank you. It's been a great show. It's been very dramatic. I hope you like the fight scenes. They made me laugh when I put them together. So I hope you enjoy the fight scenes. Just rewind, watch it with 2 speeds or 1.5. I think I go a bit chipmunky after 1.5. And put a like below. Put a comment in after the event, and thank you for everyone that's joined us. And I shall see you next Sunday, 12 Eastern. And get signed up. Monte Carlo bus is coming. Dr. H, over and out.